Spotlight today on WSGE, special live edition. Today, we're joined by Joelton Mayfield. He was raised in Texas, currently residing in Nashville, Tennessee. He has a new album coming out in October titled Crowd Pleaser. Also, he will be performing at Evening Muse in Charlotte tonight with Jack Van Cleef. However, I think tickets are sold out, so I'm glad we can bring you a little taste of what is to come. I'm Reagan. Welcome to WSGE. Joelton, thanks so much for stopping in.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Reagan.
Let's start with the new album coming out in October titled Crowd Pleaser on Bloodshot Records. This is your first full-length album, yes?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was a lot of work. I'm really grateful that we found a home at Bloodshot, and really grateful it's coming out.
Can you share a little behind the scenes of recording in Alabama's Mobile Bay? Because this sounds fascinating. You kind of set up your own situation for a studio there.
Yeah, we recorded the album mostly live in February of 2021, kind of like right before vaccines and all that. So we all got tested and then went down there and hung out for a month in a barn, a friend of mine's barn. It was a finished barn, but yeah, we like made a studio out of a barn in Fairhope, Alabama, and lived there for like a month and made this record.
Just lived in the barn,
yeah.
Wrote music,
yeah.
Created music, recorded. You
yeah.
lived it, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It was a pretty special and unique experience that was kind of a product of the times, and I was really grateful that all my friends were unemployed then and were able to just walk away from their lives for a month or work remotely, so it was good.
COVID worked in your favor for that.
In that regard, yeah.
And I love the song that we've been spinning from it, one of the releases, Turpentine, from this new album, especially the line. The lyrics are great throughout the whole song.
Thank you.
But I love the line, the best riff that's ever been played, the guitarist forgot an hour later that day, and they don't even know if their rent can be paid. And the song kind of goes on to explore how most of the best music is likely to never get heard.
Yeah, yeah.
How are you feeling about the creative process these days?
It's an interesting juxtaposition there. Yeah, it's that song was kind of born from it. It nods to Wilco's, the late greats, and the Mountain Goats, best ever death metal band in Denton, and kind of using that as shorthand for this sort of intentional irony that like the greatest thing that you could ever come up with, or the greatest thing that could ever be possible, doesn't actually exist outside of the life that you're living right now. It's just some sort of imagined ideal. So it's Turpentine is a song about kind of sending up dreams without disenchantment. Just kind of brushing that all aside and saying, just it's not serious. It's just let's have some fun. It's.
All right, let's have some fun. Let's hear the song. You're going to play
Cool.
it live for us. I'm Reagan here on the Independent Artist Spotlight on 91.7 WSGE. I'm joined today by Joelton Mayfield. This is his song, Turpentine.
The best record that's ever been made is in a private SoundCloud lake. It never gets sent, it will never see the light of day, 'cause the band will break up before they ever rock on the stage. The best riff that's ever been played, the guitarist forgot an hour later that day. They don't even know the rent can be paid, so they take their Strat to the Cash America pawn. You know the one. It's some best ever death metal, like it's Turpentine kind of nonsense. People say it's Romeo, but I think rock and roll's only chance is Juliet. worst band that's ever been signed. Gets played on Spirit 105.9. It's everything you hate about everything you wish you could lie. For your mom's sake. She told about this song that's been stuck in your head that you can't find when you look for it on the internet. It's the greatest ever was, and it's never been yet. It's some best ever death metal, late grades turpentine, kind of nonsense. People say it's Romeo, but I think rock and roll's on the chance of Juliet. Kind of nonsense. People say it's Romeo, but I think rock and roll's on the chance of Juliet.
All right, that was Turpentine from Joelton Mayfield. He's live here at WSGE today on the Independent Artist Spotlight. That was one of his releases from his forthcoming album, Crowd Pleaser. Love it. You have references to Wilco in that tune, as well as the Mountain Goats, which is based here in the Carolinas.
Yeah.
And we always love our Carolina
Yeah.
artists. Even got a little diss to the commercial radio. But, you know, we won't talk about that. You grew up in Central Texas in a family that was both musical and religious, assuming most of the music you heard growing up was faith-based?
Yeah, I grew up on like late 90s, early 2000s CCM and Southern Gospel. My first like alternative to that music that I heard was at my grandma's house. She always had like classic country on. So that was kind of my first other option. And then, you know, my dad had Dwight Yoakam cassette tape and a Randy Travis cassette tape in his truck next to, you know, his Phillips Craig and Dean CD. So it's a mixture of that stuff.
And you were music director for a church for a little while.
I was, yeah. I mean, my first like musical memory was at church. I was singing in church when I was 3 for like a children's program, and my dad played bass in the church band, and I was kind of standing by him waiting to go back up to do my next part or whatever, and the musical director at the time, Marilyn Hickson, she turned around at the piano and handed me a pair of claves and like kind of taught me or like mimed how to click them together to the beat, and that's like kind of my first memory of being taught how to play, you know. So I think I owe my love for music to, you know, kind of growing up in the church, and I went on to be playing guitar and percussion and piano and bass and things like that in the church band from there on out, and then they brought me on to lead the service for that. So
Well, it can't be bad if you get started with percussion.
yeah.
Were you writing music while you were music director?
I didn't really start writing songs until I was probably like 14 or 15 when I started taking guitar lessons. I had been taking piano lessons for a few years before that, but yeah, I you know, found what was left of my parents' vinyl that they didn't throw away or get rid of or sell, and I found the Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid soundtrack in there, and I heard Knocking on Heaven's Door for the first time on a really busted Crosley, so it was probably, you know, a little slower than the actual version, but that was my first, like, oh, music can be this, you know, sort of moment, and probably started writing songs pretty shortly after that. So.
And so Bob Dylan was the guy.
He was the genesis.
Yes,
for me.
of course.
He made it click.
All right, and you're going to share another song for us from the album, Speechwriter. Tell us a little bit about this.
This is the first single from the album. it took a lot of work to get it in the recorded form that it is on the album, which I'm really happy with how the recording turned out. But we were saying, well, we were joking while we were recording it that it should sound somewhere between Wilco's Spiders, Kid Smoke, and Honky Tonk Women by the Rolling Stones, which I think is a really funny binary. But this song kind of deals with feelings of alienation and loneliness, often imposed by the very figures and forces that are supposed to maybe represent us, and feeling alone and alienated is, I think, a pretty universal feeling, which is funny and maybe shouldn't be the case. So kind of came from that.
Meaning kind of ironic.
Yeah.
We all, yes, I gotcha. All
Yeah.
right. It's the Independent Artist Spotlight on 91.7 WSGE. I'm Reagan here with Joelton Mayfield. This is his tune Speechwriter from his forthcoming album, Crowd Pleaser.
There's a speechwriter for all my favorite speeches. She's got a way with words like you've never heard before. When you read something she wrote into any microphone, people fall out of their chairs to the floor. There's a man who looks exactly like my father, standing in the back of every room, nodding along to my finest country cover, hoping I wouldn't mind spending the rest of my life taking cues. When you think nobody's listening, remember the government. I thought all I needed was to forgive him. Didn't know I had to keep doing it. There's a girl I know who shows up 2 chords later. She says I've got all my lines memorized. I choke up and dig in my toes, prepare for whatever pitch gets thrown my way. But she never comes to the plate. She just waits, picks off the runner at the base. When you think nobody's listening, the phone rings and you answer it. That might have to mean all the difference, even though nothing's different. There's a chance I'm wrong about all I've ever wanted, and I sure don't like my odds when you tell me I was born a success. How can I convince you anything I've ever felt's worth grieving, when it feels like a luxury to be feeling anything? When you think nobody it's been a year since you felt important. She can't work hard enough to earn that, and neither can I. Neither can I.
Lovely. That's speechwriter Joelton Mayfield live here at WSGE on the Independent Artist Spotlight today, performing at the Evening Muse this evening, supporting Jack Van Cleef. The show sold out, which is exciting.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So glad you're here, that you can share your music with our audiences. You're living in Nashville now. You moved from Texas into the Music City.
Yeah.
Thought you might go get a music degree, but things went other ways, didn't they?
Yeah. I was a music business major for a whole year and found myself in a microeconomics and statistics class, and I was like, what am I doing? I like words, more words guy than a numbers guy. But so I switched to English because I've always loved reading and writing, and I found the more I read, the better I wrote. And if I wanted to write songs, I should probably be forced to read and write as much as possible. So.
Yeah, macroeconomics, I think, would do that to me as well. I struggled anything economics.
Yeah.
So while you were doing English, you're also kind of studying songwriters in Nashville?
Yeah. I found myself in a really great community. The Nashville music scene is really supportive. It's met all my best friends who ended up playing on all of my music and playing my band all the time. And at the same time, all your fellow songwriters that you live in the same city with are turning you on to new artists that they found, or bands from the 90s that somebody forgot about, or whatever, and you're just kind of having this shared experience of both trying to do the same thing at the same time, and it not being a competition. It's a beautiful thing when that happens.
So is songwriting a collaborative process for you, or you do it solo?
I've co-written with a few friends, but nothing. It's something I'd like to do more, but I mostly write alone, and over a long period of time. I'm kind of always inspired by our beautiful and troubled world, and always making notes in my journal and in my notes app, and kind of words have their own, sentences have their own sort of melodic lilt to them, and so a lot of my melodies kind of come from that. But it's just a matter of there being kind of a common mood or emotion that I'm feeling, and whatever I'm writing down that could be totally unrelated. It's just a matter of sitting down at the piano or at the guitar and making the time to finish that. So,
of course, that's why we rely on you songwriters to interpret the world around us. Now, earlier this year, you performed at South by Southwest.
I did, yeah.
Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
It's a music conference that features showcases by artists on the rise, I would say. How did it feel to be invited to perform?
It was great. That was my first time doing the showcase official styles under my own name. I had played guitar with a couple other artists before that at the festival. The unofficial showcases are also like really fun there. Saw a few shows in a gas station. Shout out Rio Market. And I love the Austin music scene. I got a lot of great friends down there. It's an hour from where I grew up, so it's a great place.
Exciting. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. If people want more information about your music or your shows, where can they find it?
Yeah, you can find information about the record on my website, joeltonmayfield.com. You can keep up with where I am playing shows and all of that on Instagram or Facebook or Threads, or there's a TikTok that is sometimes happening. But it's just at Joelton Mayfield on all your social media places, and my name is spelled Joelton.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Joelton, for being here with us today. Best of luck as you continue down the East Coast. I'm Reagan. You're tuned into the Independent Artist Spotlight on 91.7 WSGE. Joined live by Joelton Mayfield today. He's got a new album coming out in October titled Crowd Pleaser. Also at the Evening Muse tonight and on tour. I think you're going to Chapel Hill, Carver?
Yeah, we're playing at Cat's Cradle tomorrow night.
Yeah, so bouncing around the Carolinas. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the music.